Still in France, the former French President Nicolas Sarkozy's new book, Diary of a Prisoner, goes on sale today. He wrote it during his 20 days in prison before he was released last month. He was found guilty of criminal association in the financing of his winning 2007 election campaign with funds from Libya. He's appealing against that verdict. Well, to talk more about the book, I'm joined by France 24's French politics editor, Marc Perelman. Hi, Marc. Good to have you with us. We'll talk in a moment about, because he does actually give some advice to his old party, or his party, in the book as well. But mostly, of course, it's about his time in prison. What do you think he's trying to do with this book?
Well, clearly to show that he is still there, humanly and politically. As we speak, he is signing his book in a Paris bookstore because he tells it in the book. He received thousands and thousands of letters, which he sees as proof that he is still relevant. Nicolas Sarkozy, since he left power, he tried to come back for a presidential run after he was defeated by François Hollande in 2012. He was soundly defeated. People thought, well, now it's game over for Sarkozy, especially because he has not only this legal trouble, but he has several other legal problems hanging over him. But Nicolas Sarkozy is still quite popular. Maybe it's nostalgia because his party is in the doldrums right now. And so this is why he decided to write this book. As you say, only 20 days in prison. And he wrote the book in a week or so after he was released. Some people think it's a bit too much show, too much publicity about the book. You know, it's been accepted in several news outlets and interviews right and left. And so they think, well, he should behave more decently. After all, he still has an appeals trial. He was already convicted, and definitely convicted, in two other affairs. One also about illegal financing, another about influence peddling. France's highest court, the Cour de Cassation, confirmed that he was found guilty. But Nicolas Sarkozy has always this desire to be loved by not only his party faithful, but he believes he has a popularity. It's true that his books are selling well. It's probably why he's trying this quick book after his release. But politically, it's hard to see how he could have an impact, although, as you say, he is giving some interesting advice in the book.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because it's revealed in the book that Marine Le Pen of the far-right Rassemblement National, they spoke on the phone while he was in prison. I'm not quite clear who phoned who. Well, she did, presumably. But in the book, he suggests that the right-wing parties should do some kind of deal together for upcoming elections. That is the only way they will win, and that their voters share very many values. Quite a few voices have been saying this kind of thing in recent months, years, that the right needs to unite to get back into power. What do you think his voice, what difference will that make to these other voices?
Well, it does make a difference because Nicolas Sarkozy has always said we need an iron curtain between us and the far right. That is, the National Front, as it was called under Jean-Marie Le Pen, the National Rally now under Marine Le Pen. He says, you know, we're totally different. We have nothing to do with them. Really, there's no possible deal. The fact that he is saying in the book that his camp is so weakened that it can only survive and only win through as large as possible coalition without any taboo, without any preconditions, is indeed new. And Nicolas Sarkozy in the book says, I'll talk publicly soon about this. And this is really a major, major shift. The right here has always said, we don't have anything to do with the far right. Increasingly, you have current members of the party. Nicolas Sarkozy is still a member, but like as I said before, he's more a man of the past than of the future, are saying, well, yes, Giorgia Meloni is doing this in Italy. Why don't we do this in France. So this is a major shift for Nicolas Sarkozy. And it would also be a major shift for Marine Le Pen. She's always said, we're not actually the far right, although everyone considers that she is the far right. But she says this also because she says, we don't have anything to do with the traditional conservative right. We are the party of the people. We want people to be able to retire earlier than the conservative ones. Her economic policies are much more on certain issues towards the left than towards the right. And she said, no. We're going to eat up the right, and we're not going to associate ourselves with this. Her lieutenant, who could be the candidate because Marine Le Pen could be prevented by a legal case to run in the 2027 presidential election, Jordan Bardella, has a different tag. He's not saying it out loud because this would be seen as really going against Marine Le Pen, but he has been saying, well, I think the best way for us to reach power is to unite with the right and come closer to their economic policies, because the right has indeed hardened on our core issue, that is immigration, anti-European feeling, and so on. So the fact, and we know that Nicolas Sarkozy and Jordan Bardella have met, and the fact that Nicolas Sarkozy is saying this is also a way of maybe opening the door to such an alliance, if not with Marine Le Pen, at least with Jordan Bardella. And all the polls are showing that if the election was to take place today, either Marine Le Pen or Jordan Bardella would arrive first, by far, in the first round of the presidential election. The big question is whether they would win in a second round. They would need allies. Well, if the right decides to throw its support behind Jordan Bardella or Marine Le Pen, this would be a sea change in French politics, and this could indeed open the door of the Élysée Palace to the national rally.